Hi, my name is Morgan Young. I am the 4-H Youth Development and Family Consumer Sciences Extension Agent for CSU here in Chaffee County. Did you know that our elevation in Chaffee County actually affects how our baked goods turn out? Today we will be looking over how our elevation affects our baked goods and how we fix our baked goods to turn out perfect. Here in Chaffee County, we are somewhere between 7,000 feet in elevation and around 10,000 feet in elevation. It depends on your address and your location within the county. To know your elevation, go to whatismyelevation.com and you can type in your exact address and it will tell you your elevation. So why does elevation matter? Well, as elevation increases, the air pressure above you decreases. There is less air above you to add pressure. For example, the boiling point of water at sea level is 212 degrees. In Fort Collins, with an elevation of 5,000 feet, the boiling point of water is at 202.4 degrees Fahrenheit. In Leadville, at a height of 10,000 feet, their boiling point is 193 degrees Fahrenheit. When atmospheric pressure is low at higher elevations, the vapor pressure or heat required to get water to boil is also lower. It also affects the cooking and sterilization processes. It increases the evaporation rate from foods and liquids, causing them to dry out during cooking and processing. It also causes the gases to leave baked goods, including doughs and batters, and it causes them to rise quickly and overexpand, causing a coarse texture or collapsed structure. Enough with the science, am I right? Just tell me how to fix it. Well, when cooking, baking, or preserving at high elevations, you may need to adjust one or more of the following. One or more ingredients in a recipe, such as eggs or baking powder, the time in which you cook your baked goods, the temperature in which you cook the baked good, or the cooking method. These might be some of the ingredients that you may need to adjust. These ingredients are leavening agents. They facilitate gas expansion in baked goods so that when cooked, the dough structure will form around the gas, creating tiny pockets of air to form a tender cake or bread. These ingredients are yeast, baking powder, and baking soda. There are multiple kinds of yeasts. Active dry yeast is a granular yeast that remains dormant until proofed or dissolved in warm water. The sourdough starter is created by adding liquid to flour and allowing it to ferment. The one type of yeast that we do not recommend in high elevation baking is instant or rapid quick rise yeast. If you use the rapid, instant, or quick rise yeast, make sure that you skip the first rise of the dough. We recommend decreasing leavening agents in the recipe by 1/8 or 1/4 teaspoon per teaspoon in the recipe. Fats and liquids are often used in cakes, cookies, quick breads, and muffins. Fats and liquids can include butter or margarine, cream, buttermilk, milk, eggs, and oils. When we add too much of the fats and liquids, these problems occur. Baked goods are prone to sticking. As water evaporates, sugars become more concentrated and stick. Baked goods can become dry and crumbly because of the evaporation. Cakes may even have trouble setting. We recommend following the table and adjusting it per your altitude. Fat specifically plays an important role in baked goods. They can cause tenderizing or texturizing. They can be a leavening agent, or they can cause moisture retention. Sweeteners can cause cakes to become crumbly and dry or to collapse. We recommend by your elevation to reduce sugar for each cup by a tablespoon decrease. Follow the chart. When using flour for breads, cookies, cakes, sponges, or angel food cakes, make sure that you use a little less flour, and possibly additional liquid may be needed to moisten the dough for the proper consistency. Did you know that sometimes our elevation robs us of our food's flavors? Flavor tends to be less perceptible or less pungent than at sea level here. Therefore, you need to increase the salt and spices in your recipe as elevation increases. If you are baking gluten-free, you need to increase the moisture, enhance the structure, and enhance the leavening for your recipes to turn out normal in high elevation. To increase the moisture, add an extra egg or oil to the recipe. To enhance the structure, use a combination of gluten-free flours. Add dry milk solids, add extra egg or egg white product, and do not overbeat since there is no gluten to help develop the structure. To enhance the leavening, dissolve leavening in liquid before adding to other ingredients. Start with 2 teaspoons baking powder per cup of gluten-free flour, and time and temperature control can affect candies, syrups, and jelly making. They are all affected by both humidity and elevation, and can even be impacted by sudden barometric pressure changes. To avoid excessive water evaporation, use a thermometer to test what temperature your water boils. Then reduce your finished temperature for your candies, syrups, and jelly making by the difference of the temperature at which your water boils. Or, for every 1,000 feet above sea level, decrease your finished temperature by 2 degrees Fahrenheit. One thing to keep in mind when making puddings, pies, or cream fillings is that a double boiler does not obtain the temperature needed to gelatinize starch, so use a heavy pan and direct heat instead. If you're having issues with yeasty breads, only let dough rise until double in size. Avoid overproofing and proof twice to develop gluten and flavors. You can decrease the flour and add some liquid to achieve proper consistency. A flour with higher protein content can also be beneficial. For cakes, you especially want to decrease the leavening agent depending on your altitude. Here in Chaffee County, we want to typically reduce our baking powders by 1/8 to 1/4 of a teaspoon and reduce our sugar by 2 tablespoons. We can increase our liquid for each cup by 2 to 4 tablespoons. For cookies, start with any of the following to adjust. Slightly increase your oven temperature, decrease baking powder or baking soda, decrease fat, decrease sugar, or increase liquid. For biscuits, muffins, and quick breads, I always lean towards decreasing the leavening agent. We can decrease the leavening agent here in Chaffee County by 1/8 or 1/4 of a teaspoon. For pie crusts, they often become too dry and crumbly for our elevation. That's because the water evaporates out of our crusts. We might need to increase the liquid just slightly so that the dough feels nice and hydrated. And to prevent a soggy crust, bake the pies in the lower third of the oven closer to the heating element. Know that high elevation baking is always a science experiment. Start with one suggested adjustment based on your elevation, evaluate and decide what would make the recipe better, and then keep track of any and all adjustments for the next time. Keep evaluating, adjusting, and improving. Once again, my name is Morgan Young. I am a CSU Extension Agent from Chaffee County. If you are having any issues with any of your recipes in baking, please give my office a call at 719-539-6447. I'll be glad to work through that with you, or you can also go onto the CSU Extension website and type in the search engine High Elevation Baking, and hopefully that'll give you some answers. Thank you for watching and have a great day.